What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're talking about a brand new film known as Mafia Mama. Directed by Hardwicke, who directed Twilight. This film stars people like Toni, Collette, Monica Bellucci, Sophia, Nomvete, as well as Tommy Roger, and many more. So I just got back from my local AMC where I saw Mafia Mama a little bit early thanks to an early access screening that they had a few days earlier than release. And when I first saw the trailer for this movie, I thought, that could be a cute, fun time. It's nice to see Toni Collette in a comedy. I've always enjoyed Toni Collette, and just a few years ago, she gave us one of the best performances in her career in Hereditary. And so to see her in a new movie, I was absolutely down to go check this movie out. When I saw they had the early access screening, I was all in. And unfortunately, I was not a fan of this movie. The base premise of this film, without getting too deep into spoilers, is that she finds out that her grandfather has passed away, the father of her father, and she was never really connected with this grandfather. And after going to Italy, because her name is in his will and he's pretty much giving everything to her, she finds out via a video that he is the Don of a mafia group over there in Italy, and she's now inherited that role and is taking on the family business. And she is definitely not a traditional mafioso Italian individual. Instead, she is a pretty weak, pretty, standard, almost soccer mom kind of lady, somebody who lives in the suburbs and has not really ever gotten their hands dirty. And now they're the leader of a mafioso group over in Italy. That's pretty much the base premise of this film. It's a comedy. There's a big fish out of water element of this film. And after having seen this film, I can genuinely say that this was probably one of my least favorite experiences in the theater this year. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This movie was bad. I don't necessarily want to blame all the actors and actresses here, because I think that I've seen most of these actors and actresses in other things giving far better performances, and the actors and actresses that I was not familiar with, they were fine. I don't think anybody gives a bad performance here, but where it really just comes down to it with this film is in the writing. The humor is just weak. There were a couple of moments of really silly or stupid humor that was almost 12-year-old humor that made me laugh at times, a lot of sex humor that sometimes was just so absurd and stupid that it made me chuckle. But other than that, the humor is bland. The movie overall feels bland and dry. And by the time the movie was coming to even the second act, I was already ready for the runtime to be over. I was starting to feel my eyelids getting heavy, and I was just dying for this movie to end for literally about 75% of the film. For the most part, when it comes to the technical elements of this film, like I said, the performances are solid. I thought the cinematography was solid. It's a competently made film in a lot of ways. There are some strange editing choices throughout the course of the film that sometimes made things feel inconsistent from shot to shot. But beyond that, where this film really did not work for me is in its writing, is in its humor. The movie is kind of aimless for a lot of the time. There is a fun fish out of water element, as I mentioned, as Toni Collette's Kristen is trying to navigate this new mafia lifestyle that she's 110% not about. And like I said, the fish out of water element at times was funny. It was fun at times. Toni Collette is a great actress, so she did bring some fun to this role at times. But you can definitely tell that the director had her, playing off of certain sequences in just such a weird and unrealistic fashion. There's a scene in this film that you can see in the trailer where she's cheated on, and her reaction to that scene and the acting in that entire scene, I don't even know that I can blame Toni Collette, because I've seen her do so much better. It was so clear to me that the director's vision was the movie that I just saw, and unfortunately that movie did not work for me. The humor, as I mentioned, fell flat, and just overall I would say that this film just felt to me like unseasoned chicken. It's a pretty tame film that at times has some gore and some sexual jokes that tries to make it a little bit more raunchy and edgy, but when it came down to the real core of the humor and some of the moments in this film, it just felt like unseasoned chicken. It felt like everything about this film was undercooked. The characters, the character development, the performances, the dialogue, most elements about this film just felt undercooked. And by the time I got to the end of the film, I didn't care about any of the characters. I didn't care about Toni Collette's character. I didn't care about any of the side characters, her ex-husband or her husband who cheated on her, her son, pretty much anybody. There was nobody in this film that I was really latched onto in any way, shape, or form. If I had to give any big highlight to this film, I would say the biggest positives for me were two dopey henchmen characters that were hanging around, that were her security over the course of the film. The two guys that are part of the mafia that were assigned to take care of her. Those two were a lot of fun at times. A lot of times they don't have a lot of dialogue. It's a lot of physical body language humor that they were able to give off that made moments really funny. And because there is that fish out of water element with her involved in the mix, sometimes their reactions to the things that she would do or say is kind of the funniest part of this film. And that was without a doubt the one part in this movie that made me consistently laugh. But beyond that, the film is just bland, dry. There's not much to it, and honestly, I don't know what more to say. I think Mafia Mama is a film that is gonna have people watching it on like Netflix in the future, and you're gonna like do like the 10-minute test where you watch 10 or 15 minutes of the film to see if you like it. And I can totally see people are gonna turn this off and not continue. There was even a couple of ladies that were sitting a few seats away from me and my buddy Robbie as we watched this film, who about 30-40 minutes before the film ended just said, "What the hell is this?" Got up, left their popcorn, left their sodas right there in the seats, and just walked right out of the door and did not come back. And honestly, I wanted to follow them because the film was poor. I don't ever leave movies when I go to see movies, especially now doing this channel. I try to watch a movie in its entirety and completely give you a solid and honest review. But genuinely, over the course of this movie, I was just dying for it to end. I was even thinking to myself, maybe I'll just go to the bathroom to pee for no reason, just so I can get away from this movie for a little bit. I really was not a fan of Mafia Mama. I thought this film was just so bland. It was just so bland in so many ways. And if you've seen the trailers and it maybe looked funny to you, sorry to say that majority of the funniest moments in this film are what exactly you see in the trailer, and the trailer pretty much shows the entire story. So if you've seen the trailer and you feel like it looks like a predictable comedy, then that's exactly what you're going to get here. Mafia Mama is something I cannot see myself seeing ever again, and is not a film I can recommend to all of you guys. But I'm curious, as always, to hear what you guys have to say about this movie. So depending on when you've seen this film, if you've seen it, if you haven't seen it, let me know your thoughts down below. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Do you agree with me? Or do you think this is an absolute masterpiece? Definitely want to hear what you guys have to say. So again, leave those comments down below. Hit that like button if you guys enjoy the video, because it helps the channel out. Hit that subscribe button so you guys can join me for more movie talk here on the channel. And I'll see you beautiful people in the next one. Bye-bye.